Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys about what are really the three biggest categories of scam supplements that we've seen. And the reason I say that these three are the biggest scams is because the most people and the most companies have gone out of their way to legitimize them because there's lots of stuff that doesn't work, right? So it's not like something not working is a sole criteria for this, but rather that they have been promoted so heavily and so many people use them historically and have continued to use them. And yet all of them, when we look at the data, are shown to be pretty much completely and utterly useless. All right. Number one on that list is going to be testosterone boosters. Why? Because normal fluctuations inside the normal testosterone range don't even produce muscle growth. The very, very few test boosters that have ever been shown to increase testosterone measurably, which is the most of them don't, but a tiny handful have. Well, here's the issue. Even when they've been shown in certain limited, very small studies to do this, what do you think happens? Well, the testosterone levels don't actually increase enough to cause any muscle growth. And people are forgetting when they're seeing people who are using testosterone, bodybuilders and lifters and other people and the gains they make, they're not understanding that these aren't people who are just boosting their testosterone 20 or 30%, down from a low baseline. Now, keep in mind, every one of these studies on test boosters, usually the people had near the bottom end of the range who saw any increase. And they honestly, some of them didn't even increase to the optimal healthy range even on them. Right? So we're talking such small amounts that it doesn't matter. Usually when you see studies on real testosterone showing muscle growth, it's usually people have doubled or tripled their levels. Okay? And that's very, 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 very conservative compared to what lifters do. So I want people to understand the context for that. It's not uncommon, in the lifting world to see people whose testosterone levels are not just double, they're 10 or 20 times the normal range. Okay, so just get that out of the way first. These things don't work. And most of them don't even show any benefits. And like I said, when Lobliner had showed his years ago, I've got an example of a client or whatever who used it, and this is where his test levels were. Do you guys know that at the end, even his test levels boosted with this product, he's still on the medically low end? The guy was so low that he would qualify for TRT from a medical doctor. So even after this test booster was taken, he wasn't even at a healthy level. All right, he was at a clinically low level. So, it's just nonsense. All right, the next one's going to be branched chain amino acids. Again, they were so heavily pimped, we know which individuals out there pushed them. Multiple meta-analysis have now confirmed they don't do anything for muscle growth. They don't seem to do anything for muscle recovery. They don't boost muscle protein synthesis in any way. So it's not just a case of people saying, oh, yeah, there's no benefit if you, because you have so many in your diet already if you're on a high protein diet. No, that's not even the case. Because what we have found, even in studies where people who didn't have enough protein in their diet, when they added BCAAs, they still didn't get any benefit. Do you know why? Because it turns out that even though they're very critical for muscle growth, that when taken by themselves without the full amino acid profile of a complete protein, you're just basically taking an incomplete protein. And it doesn't seem to help at all. Right? And this is meta-analysis have now confirmed this. Yet there's still a few people who still manage to pimp these and promote these in spite of that. Okay, they don't work. They don't work. Then we come over to pre-workouts. All right, this is something I had said years ago that, look, the only major study we had looking at pre-workouts, they looked at one that is so potent that it's off the market now. And when they were put into a study, when two groups of college students were given good programming by the strength and conditioning coaches and the sports dietitians at the university wrote their diets, that the people who took the pre-workout versus those who didn't gain any more muscle or strength. Now, you get people who say, well, I don't take them to gain muscle or strength. Well, you know how stupid that is? You're taking a product that doesn't help you gain any muscle or strength, and you're getting addicted to it, and they're oftentimes addictive, it's like, well, that's silly. Well, I need it for a better workout, but that's resolved by just better programming. All right, we come over to that other point. If fatigue management's good and diet's good and the training is good, they don't have any benefit. You don't have a better workout. So if you're having a better workout from the pre-workout, there's something wrong with your training. Right? There's something wrong with your training. You need to fix it. It's a problem. But that's what we see. We see all the people who sell these products give out training programming with bad fatigue management so that they can make you fatigued and tired, and then you need to take something to make it through their crappy programming workouts. Shouldn't be the case. And here's the other problem. If you're using something to psych yourself up and push through a workout that you're not recovering from, your recovery is even further compromised. You'll make less gains. I would argue you're going to lose gains by using these products. All right, then we've had a newer study come out recently that looked at them and found that the proprietary blends, oftentimes they look at one of the major ones on the market, and they found that when compared to caffeine, it was inferior. That simply caffeine produced a larger response. And that's the thing with a lot of the pre-workouts that they're finding, is that when you take these blends of stuff together that might individually potentially do something, when you blend them together, they seem to cause interference. There seems to be actual interference that reduces performance. Well, that means that the pre-workout itself may be reducing your performance in the gym compared to if you had just taken caffeine. So drinking some really strong coffee actually seems to produce a better performance benefit than even the same amount of caffeine mixed with a lot of these products. And again, many of them are psychologically or physically addictive, and they're expensive. You see the problem there? But it's actually inferior. So it's this idea that people have that if I take multiple things together that will do this, that it'll create a larger response. But the reality is, in some cases, it seems to actually interfere with the benefits. And that's what this study found on one of these really popular pre-workouts that came out recently. I saw it come out on Minnow Hanselman's page, this study, then it got spread everywhere. The pre-workout, the expensive pre-workout actually produced less performance in the gym than simple caffeine. And that's ultimately the thing that really seems to work out of all the pre-workouts anyways, is simple caffeine. But again, we come over to that point. Are you taking so much caffeine that you're addicted? That is a problem. Is it interfering with your sleep? Is it interfering with your recovery? Okay, that's the big problem with a lot of these things still too. So pre-workouts, because they've been so legitimized by people and so many people believe in them, and the placebo and the bad programming that seems to make people want to use them, they probably are near the top for the number one spot, right? Because a lot of people still believe in them who know that the others are scams. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.